Thank him for everything. Do we have any questions? Sombra's eating, so she can't. Six, have you got any questions? Because otherwise I'll just go straight into the demonstration.
Um, Actually, I do. So for turning in everything, is the last day like the 15th or is the last day this Saturday?
Not this Saturday.
Okay. So
Uh,
I have next week
yes.
to finish
Yeah,
the
yeah,
last one.
yeah, totally.
Okay.
I'm always up to next week to do it. I'm just checking my phone to get the right date. I'm not ignoring you, right? So I think last day of class is, I'm guessing, like they say, the ninth, and I'm expecting, I've opened everything up to be due in on the ninth, but I'll extend it to the 13th, 12th, 13th.
Okay.
Is that good?
hmm
Hell yeah. Next question, six.
That was everything. Thank you.
Oh, cool. Okay, so I'll open it up to the 12th, and then once it comes down, do you need the Saturday to work on it, six, or not?
Um, no. The 13th should be fine.
Okay,
It should
good.
be
And
done
then I'm
before then.
once I get to the 13th, I just shut everything down.
Oh,
Bam. And I'll make sure I'll go through all the dates and make sure they're open till that date. I know they're all open to the 9th because I changed them all this week. hmm Any other questions? So this new assignment is going to be it's sort of the culmination of everything, but it's actually really simple in that you are going to be making a very small emoji and it's going to be of your monster that you made, your Crimea, right? And then you're just going to flush it through this thing called Emoji Maker, and it's going to go boing, 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 or it's going to swirl. Okay? So I'm going to share my screen and I will get out of this, as you can see. So here we go. Let me bring this up. So I'll just walk you through, right? Recreate an emoji based on the Crimea as vector art using closed shapes and color swatches, then change your character's features and color palette to create a twin. And so one might be a happy emoji and the other one might be an angry emoji. And it's sort of if a happy one might be all in blues, an angry one might have an angry face and be all in reds. So you're using your color from your logo mojo and that interpretation to get where you need to go. So I'm reading from this learning objectives, use your pen tool and techniques, 4 inches by 4 inches. There is a number of artboards because each one should be placed in an artboard. So really it's only going to be two, but the more you learn about artboards, the better it is because they can be used for printing different things, different ideas, different variations of images that you're changing. So really, the artboard is another way of just creating a folder. Spacing is 5 inches. That's around the outside, so you don't trap it. And then you just hand it in. So the first thing you do is and you sketch up what your emoji is going to be. Now, can I just say emoji should be really simple. We're not looking for anything incredibly detailed, right? So I looked at it and I sketched it. And so that was my sketch up the top. You will have to post that. And these are my two emojis. One is a and one is a right? And I changed the color and I changed the mouth. All right. And I even went so far as playing with the eyes and eyebrows, right? And the other thing is this is going to be your final, which is throwing it through a website, which there is a link to that website. Okay. So you also have to post it on Padlet. You have to do exactly the same on in Portfolio. All right. So please notice, even when I was doing the last one, there it is there. That was my favorite. So I paste the original, the sketch, one, and then two. And here are my color swatches here to tell you what colors. When you are looking at emojis, you will see that minimal colors is the best, right? Because they're just little things that everybody's going to put in. How to, portfolio, Padlet, demo, all there. Okay. So then we're going to how to create emoji. Now I have done it step by step here. First thing when you do how to is look at other emojis and note how simple they are, right? We're not looking at rocket science, like making a very detailed. They can be very simple amount of colors. Okay, take a screenshot, see what you like. This is a sample of the Crimea that was made. Here is my sketch. Here is the new files. And this is giving you the instructions on how to do my emoji, right? Blah, blah. It's all here. I'm going to take you through some samples because we've done most of these. If you click on this, right, it jumps you out to make an emoji. Really simple. I actually clicked on here. It says choose. I can come here, click there. I can choose my emoji, or I could choose, it should be saved as a GIF or a PNG, please, because that gives the background as transparent. Okay. And then, so I select that. I open it. There it is. Then once you've got your selected image, you can simply click here. You can scrape, you can scroll. That's it. Automatically downloads it onto your computer. Then you find it and then you post it, right? So let me come up here. I think it's in my downloads. I'm pretty sure it is. See if we can find it. Downloads. Party gift generation. There it is. There's one of them. Wow, right? And then you just either email me if it's not going to accept it. There's the scroll GIF. Okay. Really, it's just a small animated GIF. Is there any questions about how to get your animated scroll GIF, right? Okay. Yes, no, maybe. It's all there. Okay. So I'm going to come back and I am going to get my Illustrator file up. Here's my Illustrator. So I just decided I'd change it up. So I was just playing with this. So I could have gone up here and shown you my GIF and shown you how I did this. But what I thought I'd do is I'd show you how I got a different emotion. You can play with it by sketching it, right? But what I did was I got an animal. This just happened to be my animal, which was a chimp. And I looked at different faces for it. So that's for two faces, right? Right? And so once you do this, it gives you an idea of how your emoji can look. That's just giving you an example. If you don't know, once you've got your emoji, then you can play with it to get it what it is. All right. So if I wanted to, there's the original. I have made a square face, a circle, and I'm starting with the eyes. That's just starting with this emoji, right? What I am going to do is I'm going to start with how do we do this and how do you make it so simple, right? So if you have a look at this, it is, I suggest, and I'll even make it even simpler so you don't have the mouth, is you really want to look at things as though they are circles and squares, and you don't want to get necessarily involved in all the little fine hair. You can do that with the pattern brush. But if I look at this, we have a shape here with the eyebrows. We have the eyes inside two shapes. We have this very strange nose, and we have the face here. And we also have circles here to start with, and then we can have a big circle and two ears. So that's the basics of it, right? So what I'm going to do is I am going to come to my layer and I'm going to add a new layer. All right, we've got a new layer. So the first thing I want you to notice is I'm going to go to my circle. Now remember, when you have a circle, it starts off as an ellipse. If you hold the shift key down, you can make it a complete circle. If you hold the option key down, if I click drag, you do it from the left-hand side out, right? If I hit option and drag, I can do it from the center out, right? So I don't want to see any strokes on this. We're looking at color. This is a happy guy. So if I've done my sketch, I can't see. I've got to get rid of this for the moment. I'm going to actually move this out of the way so I can get attached to my tools. So first thing I'm going to do to look underneath is I'm going to do the opacity low, right? So we have the circle selected. I'm going to go to my direct selection tool. It's okay. You can do it as beautifully as this, and this might just be good enough for you. If you wanted to slightly change the shape of the circle, I go to this second arrow that is whiter here. Click there. Click on my actual image here, and I will blow this up so you can see. You will see we have anchor points here, an anchor point there, and we have these handles here. I can click on this, drag it down, and I can, if I can find it, click on the anchor points, and I can slightly manipulate the shape with these anchor points. Drag it down. I can even drag it down more. I click on this, or I can click here, which is easier to see for you. I click there. This is what's called your handles, and look what you can do with the handles. You can manipulate the shape to get, and the more you pull out, the wider it gets, the more you pull in, the smaller it gets. And every time, notice when you pull on one handle, it slightly affects the other handle on the other side. I click on this. Difficult to see because it's black on black, but I can pull that in. So that's my first part to the face, right? So I'm just going to call this, I don't know, forehead, right? So you can see underneath it. You can do it on different layers, or you can just try and if you do it on the same layer, you have to learn how to pull the object forward and push it back. And I'll show you that in a bit. So there's your first shape. All right. I have line here. I have my eyes there. I'm going to go back here. And the second thing I'm going to do is I can select there, make a new layer, and I'm going to call this mouth. All right. Here's my mouth. I'm going to lock the layer below because I don't want to get it invested. And I'm going to get my Eclipse tool, hold the option key down. Now, there's two things that you can do here. One is I can make the whole circle and then put the mouth in, or I can make a half circle and a half circle, right? So how do I make a half circle? One way to do it is click right from the center. I'm actually going to change this color, no outline. I don't want it too much, so I'm going to go yellow just for fun, okay? I'm going to pull the opacity down, all right? I'm going to go back to my selection tool, come up here, then I go to my direct selection tool, click there, move this down here, click on this anchor point and move it straight up so it sort of locks it across. It'll go straight there. Move this down. And this is anchor points. The theory behind using anchor points is the less anchor points you have, the cleaner the shape. Now, I could make this shape by going click, 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 click. But for me, it seems a lot easier if I just do it like that, right? Does everybody see that? Okay. So I have my shape here. There's my second shape. All right. Now, with this second shape, I can then do the bottom of the mouth. I can do two things with this. I can click on this. I'm not going to click on that, sorry, with the direct selection. I can click there. I can option drop. If I click option, it copies it. Then I can go edit. I'm looking for my object. Transform. And I am going to reflect. See if it reflects it. 180 degrees. We want to do it on the horizontal. There it is. Do you see how it's reflected now? Click OK and move it down. Now this one, again, I should have made, it should have made a copy. So I'm going to do that. All right, we're going to go back. We can use rotate, but I should select this. Option click should copy it. Do you see that? Now, what I'm going to do, object transform, reflect. There it is reflected. We're doing it on the horizontal. I can move it up, click OK, and move this down, and then rotate it a little like that. Now, that is not 100% exactly what you want. Then you have to start to manipulate. So now I can bring the opacity up here. Do you see that? And I can click here. Now I can come to this area here. Sorry, to this shape here. Click here, right? And move it down a little bit. Do you see that? Move this slightly up a bit. Maybe have it shifted in a bit and move this in a bit. And then I double click on this color and I get a pink. That's not a pink. That's so far from a pink. It's unreal. And I'll choose a pink. Okay. Any questions? No? Bring my opacity up. Do you see what I'm trying to do? Okay. I love the response, so I'm going to come back here. Got to move that out of the way, drop this down. So I'm starting to get the face of the monkey. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I want to do is I want to get this shape of the actual, well, I'll tell you, of the eyebrows, and I can show you how to do that by drawing. But the next part is if I pull this opacity down, you don't want to make the actual, I'll tell you what I'm going to do while I'm on the fly. I'm going to bring this up. I have this object here. Now this is where I can come and add a stroke. So maybe I actually add a stroke color of red. And that you can play with if bigger and bigger. And that might be a nice way to make the red of the mouth animated, right? I can come here. I could get my rectangle tool. I'm going to also take off this stroke. If I need to save colors, then we go to our color and create a swatch. What I am going to do here is double click and I'm going to create, and I want this to sit as a different color. So although it doesn't show it, I will be doing it in a light blue, red and blue. Red is hot, blue is cool. So I've got my blue teeth here and I can move this over here. I'm going to select this image here, drop the opacity, go in here, blow it up, right? I'm going to option, click drag, Option, click drag. Then I am going to reduce the size of it. Do you see that? So it fits there. I can make the shape, but I'm going to keep it pretty easily rounded because it's looking, we want it to be graphic, like an animation, graphic. I can come to this object here, option click, put it over there. And so now if I have a look at this image, I'm going to click on the back image and pull the opacity up. So do you see how we start to get a graphic image? So the next part to this is to get the head and the ears. I'll move this up a little bit, right? I'm going to move this over here and I'm going to call a new layer and I'm going to call this head, H-E-A-D. All right. I want this head to be underneath all the other layers. So what am I going to do? I'm going to click and drag it on the layers palette underneath. There we go. I'm looking and I actually locked the mouth and I have locked the forehead. Okay. So I'm going to minus this down a bit. Do notice this is my board. You can see where my artboard is that black line over there around the image. So what I'm going to do here is I can come get my ellipse tool. Now, I've been using the pen tool for a long time. So for me, to use the pen tool, I would click here. I'll just show you how to do it. Double click. And I'm going to use a black, but I'm going to use a blue black. All right, because you never use a flat color. You always use, although it looks like black, it isn't a flat color. It isn't black. It's a blue black. So I'm going to click, watch, click. Click. The minimal amount of line work you have, the better. It's a known fact. Click. 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 And I actually close it there. Don't want the outline. Do not want that outline. Get rid of that outline. There it is. I want to save this color. Pretty good color. How do I save that color, right? What I can do here on my color, here it is on my colors. I go to my window. I open my swatches palette, which is here, which is popped up over here on my right part of the screen. And then I create a new swatch. I'm going to call this chimp face. So now when I go to my swatches, I know it is there. All right. So here is my chimp face. Now that's not exactly the right color that I want. So what I'm going to shape, sorry, I come back here to my direct selection and I click. Now this shows me if I click on the anchor point, I can then pull it, click here, play with it. Now this is where it becomes hard. I probably have maybe one, and because I won too many anchor points, but the problem is because I didn't use a circle, it's not necessarily going to be that uniform, right? I pull it out there, I click on that. Now this one here, you want to check what style of anchor point it is. All right, there it is there. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to come to my anchor point direction tool, click on this, click drag, and it will then give me anchor points. So I'm changing it from a direct hard line to an anchor point that has, sorry, now it has handles that I can play with. And that's how you can make the shape you want. All right, it's looking okay. This could be pulled out there a bit more. And you start to play with it, right? So there is my face. Any questions? And if I take the background off, right? I take the background off. You can see that this is not all on the actual image, right? So that is an issue. I should have looked at that earlier on. So then you're going to have to, if I unlock everything, then I have to reduce the size. So I would unlock, I would select absolutely everything, right? And then hopefully, and I'm going to shift click. Come on, buddy. And let's see if it does it. Nope. Command Z. It should, but it's not going to. Let's see if it does it again. I should do it at the end, right? I shouldn't be doing it now because it's going to be the different from the actual monkey. But you shift click and then you reduce them all. So here's my monkey in the background. We're doing pretty well. He needs ears. All right. So let me come and put this here. You can see where this is an issue. We might even, to make it even better, pull off the background. Now it's coming into the shape of the background. Okay. Now, ears. We have our ears too. Oh, you know what I will do before I do the ears? Is I am going to show you how to draw this line here, which gives you the actual brow of the chimp, right? I'm going to put it above the mouth, above the forehead. You have two pen tools. All right. You have under here, you have your pen tool. This is what's called the curvature tool. All right. Now, this, I could pen this out, but what is easier if you use the curvature tool, and that will give you softer shapes. Okay, I'm going to come here. I'm going to do it as blue, just so you can see. We can go to our color swatches. No, we're good. And we click OK. So how do I have my image selected, my layer selected here? Eyebrow. I'm going to blow this up. Right, we've got our curve tool. Click. 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 And now, do you see it starts to make the curve? There is a little issue here, and you will see it in a minute. Do you see how it's filling in that beautiful curve? So it's going click, click, click. All right. It's a problem, right? Now, I'm going to come here and I'm going to flip those around. That now gives me my shape that I want. You can see I go back here, I'll click here, I click on my direct selection, I blow it up. If I click on my direct selection, hopefully there are our lines, right? Do you see that? There is our line. If you're using the curve and you don't want to lose the beauty of it, now I'm going to come back to my actual image here. We're using the stroke and we can now change our brush. I'm going to blow it up a little. There's do you see that? There is my brush. Awesome. I can go to my styles. I can go to my basic brush, which gives it here. I can do a soft brush. I can go underneath. I can choose a brush like that. You can start to look at the brushes that you want to use. I click on it and I can now move it down. So now let's have a look. Boop, 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 boop. Any questions?
You go do that again.
Okay, it's a funky one, isn't it? But it's, you know, the reason why you can use the curves is when you click and drag, right? It gives you a much wobblier line. So we'll go to this. This is called the curve. Oh, let me go here. So I'm going to take the eyebrow off. Click on the eyebrow. I will add a new eyebrow, right? Here is our click and curve. Click, right? Nothing's happened, right? Even if I went, there's your first one. It will, do you see how it's making that curve? Do you see it makes the line? You click to where you want the next one. And then it shows you, do you see that? That looks good. Maybe you want it shorter. Click there. It's so cool because it smooths out the line for you, right? And I'll show you again that I didn't do that very well. Click, click. Now, do you see that? And that shows you where the next line is going to be. Be very careful. Click and down. Do you see that? So once you've got that, I'm going to click on this. That'll take it off. There's our smooth. We can change it in a minute if it's not 100% the right shape. So it's click, click, and then drags down. Click and then drags down. I will put the stroke up. Do you see that? And then I can change the brush. I can change it. I can go under here and do a brush stroke like that says 15-point round. I'm going to go here. I can go uniform. Come on, buddy. I could go like that. Does that better for you? Was that 6 that said that?
Yes.
Okay. Did that work for you? Look at if I have
Mhm.
the basic and I can change it like this, right? I can change it like that. I can also open up my brushes palette, which is window, brushes. All right. And I can choose from my library of brushes. Let's have a look. So show art brushes, show calligraphic brushes. So I could change it like that, like that. And the stroke will give you the play on the brushes. Any other, does that make sense to everybody? Got that one? Yeah, man. There we go. Okay. So introducing you to brushes. The other thing that I can do, okay, so there we are. For those of you, we're getting there, okay? Now, we want to do the eyes. All right, let's have a look at our eyes. Let's take that off. We've got that in there. I want to lock that. Take it off, take it off, take it off, take it off. Okay, simply eyes can be a simple circle, right? We want a new, it wasn't working because the layer is locked and not showing. So I can simply come here and I'm going to do click, drag. We are on the stroke. This is the shape. This is the stroke. Now it fills it. Whoop. I'm going to choose a yellow, right? Then I'm going to come back here. Now, for anybody who wants to know, I can double click here and I can actually choose to do a gradient. Double click on the gradient tool. I'm throwing a lot of information at you. Double click on the gradient tool. All right. Now, this changes the gradient color. I can double click here. I can click there. This gives me the grayscale, or I can go, come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. It should allow me to give me the swatches. Here we go. Do blue, red, right? And that allows me to make a gradient. I can then come back here, click on it like you've been doing, right? Or not. You don't have to change the shape a little bit. You can or not. Doesn't matter. All right. Feels pretty good. Looks pretty janky. We're fine. I want to copy that and make the eyes equal. What I am going to do is I'm going to come here and I'm going to get the circle tool again. I'm going to shift click, have a circle tool, double click here to change the color. I'm going to do it in black. Click OK. Go back to my selection tool. I'm going to move it just slightly up the top here. I'm going to select both of them, right? Object, group, option, copy it across, because that copies it. If you click option on your pad, on your keypad, then we go, whoop, whoop, whoop. We don't want that one there. I want my forehead here. And this is my mouth, and I'm going to take that off and that on. So as you can see, we now have our emoji. Let's say we now have our emoji. I actually want this here. I'm going to unlock this eyebrow. And you can add ears, you can do everything. Once you have got what you want, right? This is not perfect, just showed you a few ways of doing things. What you have to realize is you go File, Export, and Export, Save for Web Legacy. This is going to allow you to make your emoji transparent. Click here, you're going to have the emoji, and you're saving it as a GIF. It's going to have a transparent background. This gives you the amount of colors that are actually used to make this. Can you see how the background is now? I'll blow it up a little. Pixelated, got grid, and then you save. So I'm going to save it as chimp, right? And I'm going to save it in my Act 8 and save. All right, let's see if this works. I'm going to come and put that down. I'm going into this website. I'm going to choose a file. Please let this work. Act 8, chimp GIF, open. There he is. And then I am going to do this as zoom in and out. Click off. Double click here. Go to my users. Angela. Download. Where's chimp? Let's see if we can find chimp. Party parrot. Where is it? Here we are. That's just repeating it over and over. Okay. Any questions? No questions? People.
So do we can just choose any random animal, or does it have to be our chimera?
Well, I would prefer your Crimea. because it actually rounds everything out. So what it is doing is training you to you've got your really detailed Crimea, and this is no, the training's the wrong word, okay? This is teaching you how to minimize your shapes so that they become incredibly graphic. That's the thinking. So this is actually a design assignment at the same time. So you will write, so the idea is that you will produce two versions of your Crimea. Maybe one is angry, one is sad, one is Dracula, changing the colors. And the idea is, in a design sense, you can make these really nice detailed Crimeas in Photoshop, and then you can take them into Illustrator and create shapes and make a graphic image. Trust me. I mean, there is, as hard as it is, there actually is theory behind what I'm doing. There's actually design theory. What can I say? Any other questions? Torrance will send me that and I will shoot that up so you actually have a demonstration, right? Which I've been posting every week. Those of you who weren't here last week, we did that, and the week before for the Commandala. So all of those instructions are already up there. Okay? Look at those smiles. Thanks for sticking it out, Six. Thanks, Sumbra and Torrance, very much for recording. Good luck.
You're welcome. You have to write a few.
Did you hear that? I don't know. Okay, bye. Wasn't me. Bye.
Bye.